Hello there guys, my name is Rob from Rob Elite Fitness and I'm a personal trainer and online coach. In particular, I specialise in weight loss / fat loss, looking at working with people who have a busy schedule and would like to fit exercise and a healthy diet into their busy schedule. So what I want to do in this quick video is basically talk about some of the reasons why you might not be losing weight. So we've just come into a new year and it's often a time of year when people are looking to lose weight. New year, new me, etc. So I want to cover off some of the reasons why, if you've been trying to lose weight and you perhaps haven't lost weight, why that might be. Number one, pure and simple, you're eating too many calories. So in order to lose weight, you need to be in what we call a calorie deficit. This is where the number of calories you're burning is greater than what you're consuming. If you're not losing weight, pure and simple, you're not in a calorie deficit, you're consuming too many calories. It's that simple. That's probably the main reason often why people are not losing weight. There is a couple of other reasons which I'm going to go into and expand on. Second reason is that if you're tracking and you're using MyFitnessPal and you're still not losing weight, chances are it's because you're probably not being accurate with your tracking. So often a mistake a lot of people make is they try and eyeball how much like a portion size is, and they kind of vastly underestimate how much they've actually had to eat. So eyeballing is a technique which, if you've been consistently weighing out your food and measuring your food and you have a rough idea of what a portion size looks like, then, it does work well. However, if you're new to tracking, it's probably a good idea if you can try and weigh and measure out your food or have some method that's a little bit more accurate. The other thing that people do is they underreport. So they forget to perhaps add any snacks in that they might have had at the office. They forget to add in any liquids that they have. So that latte that you had at Starbucks with cream and sprinkles, that's going to have a lot of calories in. You need to make sure you include that in your day. Any sauces that you've added to food will contain calories. People are forgetting to add in the liquid calories and any snacks that perhaps you've had. Next reason is the fact that you're not active enough on a daily basis. If you want to lose weight, you need to make sure you're as active as you possibly can be on a daily basis. This goes into this thing that we call NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And essentially, this is anything that's not a planned workout that still burns calories. So essentially, by moving your hands around a lot, anything where there's movement and it's not considered a workout, you're going to burn more calories. So if you're not regularly getting a good few steps in, as the target which gets thrown around a lot is 10,000 steps. If you're not regularly getting, I would say, kind of around about 8,000 to 10,000 steps in, you should probably look to try and up your step count, because that's going to make a massive difference in terms of the energy that you're expending when it comes to weight loss. So yeah, essentially people are not being active enough on a daily basis, and that is one of the reasons why you're not losing weight. Another reason is that people do all cardio and they don't lift any weights. I get it. If you're new to exercise, lifting weights can seem quite intimidating and a little bit scary. But if you're not lifting weights and you're just doing cardio, you're not really helping yourself. After a little while, your body will start to adapt and it will get used to the cardio, unless you do something, say, like HIIT training. But it will start to adapt and it'll get used to it, and then the amount of energy that you're burning will not be as effective as what it once was. So you need to make sure that you're also lifting weights. And the advantage that weightlifting has is it helps to increase your metabolic rate, aka your metabolism. If your metabolism is faster and your metabolic rate is higher, you're going to burn a lot more calories. And if you're burning more calories, it's going to result in more weight loss. So make sure you're lifting weights. And if you're unsure on how to lift weights and how to get started with lifting weights, go have an induction at your gym, speak to a personal trainer like myself. Have a look online for a program. There's loads of ways you can get started with weight training. And maybe if you're still not quite confident, maybe look at going to a class like circuits or body pump or kettlebells, some kind of class at your gym that involves lifting weights. On to my next reason, you're not getting enough sleep. Pure and simple. If you regularly get less than sort of about 7 hours sleep, you're probably going to be more susceptible to gaining weight and storing body fat. And the reason for this is, when we lack sleep, what happens in our body is there's these two hormones which are known as the hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, and they're responsible for managing your hunger levels. I can't remember the exact which one is which, but one of them makes you feel hungrier, the other one makes you feel less hungry and more satisfied by food. And when you don't get enough sleep, you start to feel a lot more hungry and you feel less satisfied by food. So therefore, to get that energy back, you eat a lot more food and you then gain weight subsequently. So getting more sleep will be a good way to make sure you manage these hormone levels and you're not then feeling hungrier all the time. Another problem as to why people aren't losing weight is because you're following the same workout routine for too long. So what you should ideally be looking to do is switching up your workout program, changing things up every 4 to 6 weeks. And the reason for that is after that time period, your body starts to adapt and it gets used to the workouts that you're doing. So you should look to kind of change the intensity, maybe modify the exercises slightly. So that could be things like using heavier weights. You could add more reps in, more sets. You could do supersets, anything like that that's going to kind of make the workouts a little bit more intense and slightly different so that you're not following the same thing for too long. And maybe after that time period, you want to look at finding a different program to follow. You want to be using this principle that we call progressive overload. So it progressively gets harder as you go through the program. And on to my final reason, and it's the fact that people follow a Monday to Friday diet. So they're really good Monday to Friday, the weekend comes around and suddenly they fall off the wagon, they drink loads of alcohol, they eat loads of food. So what my recommendation would be for getting around this would be allow yourself a little bit more flexibility. So, I follow this 80-20 rule, which is where 80% of the calories come from good, healthy, nutrient-dense food, 20% comes from less healthy food. So by giving yourself that flexibility during the week, you perhaps won't feel the need to binge as often on the weekend. The other thing that you can perhaps do is during the week you have a much bigger deficit, so you reduce your calories down a fair bit so that gives you a little bit of a buffer for the weekends. And another thing as well is rather than looking at like a daily target, maybe set yourself a weekly target. So, that again would take into account the fact that you can have your calories slightly higher on the weekends. Other things that you want to consider is perhaps making sure you stay active. So if you know you're going to be eating a lot more and perhaps going out for meals, drinking, make sure you stay active on the weekend so you can kind of counteract the increase in calories that you're going to be consuming. Those are kind of my top reasons as to why you're not losing weight and why perhaps you're actually gaining weight. So if you follow that advice I've given you, it will work for you. If you'd like any help to implement that, feel free to pop me a private message and I'll be happy to jump on a call and go through some suggestions with you. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought of the video, and feel free to share this with any of your friends who are trying to lose weight. So my name is Rob and I'm from Rob Elite Fitness, and I'll be back soon with more content.